Gentlemen, we live in a world obsessed with money, flashy cars, lavish vacations, designer brands, and while women might admire success, what most men fail to realize is this: money isn't the thing that captivates a woman's soul. There are deeper forces at play, subtle behaviors and masculine energies that women crave far more than a fat bank account. Let me show you the 6 things women secretly value more than money, and why these things will win you respect, desire, and loyalty in ways wealth alone never can. A man with purpose is a man who doesn't just move through life, he carves a path through it. He doesn't wake up wondering what to do with his day, he already knows. His time, his energy, his focus, they are not scattered, they're aligned. That kind of man has a gravitational pull, because there's nothing more attractive than certainty in a world full of confusion. Women don't just want a man who's rich, they want a man who's *rooted*. A man whose identity isn't defined by what he has, but by what he's becoming *. You see, money can be taken away, circumstances can change, but purpose, that's internal. That's a fire that doesn't flicker every time the wind blows. And when a woman meets a man like that, it hits her differently. He doesn't just provide financially. He provides emotionally, energetically, and directionally. He doesn't need constant reassurance because his validation comes from within. And that gives her the space to stop leading and start trusting. The truth is, women are exhausted by men who have no map, no sense of who they are or what they stand for. It puts the emotional burden on her. She has to carry both herself and the relationship. But when a man knows where he's going, she finally feels safe enough to rest. It's not about controlling her, it's about controlling yourself. And when she sees that you're not easily swayed, that your life is on course whether she's there or not, it creates a paradoxical attraction. She doesn't feel like she's your entire world, but rather that she gets to join a world that already has structure, depth, and momentum. That's what inspires her. That's what makes her look at you differently, because you're not chasing money, you're chasing mastery, and that is rare. Emotional intelligence is one of the most underrated qualities in a man, and yet it's the one thing that makes women feel truly connected, safe, and understood. Most men operate on a surface level, reacting impulsively, shutting down in conflict, or masking their insecurity behind anger or avoidance. But the man who has emotional intelligence doesn't do that. He pauses. He breathes. He observes his own emotions before they hijack his behavior. That alone creates a powerful difference. Women are emotional creatures by nature, not in a weak way, but in a deeply intuitive and energetic sense. They feel everything. They read between the lines, sense shifts in tone, energy, body language. So when a man can meet that with presence and awareness, she doesn't just notice it. She feels it in her body. A man with emotional intelligence knows how to hold space for a woman's chaos without being consumed by it. When she's spiraling or venting or emotionally overwhelmed, he doesn't try to fix her or shut her down. He doesn't take it personally. He doesn't match her intensity with aggression. Instead, he remains grounded. He listens, he leans in without being dragged under. That kind of presence is rare and deeply comforting. She feels seen, not judged. She feels safe, not controlled. She feels like she can unravel without the fear of abandonment. That's a level of emotional intimacy most women crave more than anything money can buy. But emotional intelligence isn't just about managing her emotions. It's about owning your own. A man who has done the inner work, who understands his own triggers, his childhood wounds, his patterns and blind spots, becomes immune to manipulation. He doesn't chase approval, he doesn't get reactive when criticized, he doesn't crumble when things get difficult. That self-awareness gives him a quiet strength, a kind of self-possession that women admire deeply. Because now you're not just emotionally available, you're emotionally resilient. You can connect deeply, and stay in control. That's a rare and powerful combination. Most men think they have to raise their voice to assert dominance or withdraw to maintain power. But the man with emotional intelligence knows that true strength is silent. He doesn't need to control others. He just controls himself. He doesn't beg for love. He commands respect through the calmness of his presence. And that calmness creates a container in which a woman can truly relax, trust, and surrender. Money can create excitement, but emotional intelligence creates attachment. And that's what makes a woman stay. When a man is fully present, truly locked into the moment with undivided attention, it does something to a woman that money simply cannot replicate. Presence is a form of intimacy. It communicates value, respect, and desire all at once. Women are deeply perceptive, and they can feel it when a man is physically with them but mentally somewhere else. When your eyes glance at your phone every few minutes, when your attention flickers, when you're halfway listening while thinking about work or distractions, she feels it instantly. And that subtle shift sends a message. You're not important enough to hold my full attention. But the man who is present, the one who puts the phone down, who listens not just with his ears but with his body language, his silence, his eye contact, he stands out in a world full of short attention spans. Attention to detail is what separates a man who's going through the motions from one who is deeply engaged. It's the way you remember small things she said in passing, the way you notice the change in her tone before she even mentions something's wrong. It's the way you can look into her eyes and truly hear her even when she's not saying much. That kind of awareness shows her that she's not just another conversation to you. She matters. It tells her that you care not just about what she says, but how she feels. And women don't want to be heard. They want to be felt. They want to know that they occupy space in your mind even when they're not around. And when you make her feel remembered, she feels cherished. Being present also means you're not trying to perform or impress. You're not caught up in thinking about how you're being perceived. You're simply there, grounded, relaxed, attuned. That calm, unwavering attention is rare, and it builds trust faster than anything money can buy. Because presence tells her, I'm not here for validation. I'm here with you. Fully. It gives her the freedom to be soft, playful, emotional, even messy, because your energy creates a safe space for her authenticity. In a world where everyone's chasing dopamine, likes, and instant gratification, a man who can stay focused on her, moment by moment, becomes unforgettable. Presence isn't passive, it's a practice. It requires discipline. To slow down, to breathe, to listen instead of thinking of what to say next, to observe her, understand her patterns, appreciate her subtleties. And when a man brings that kind of energy into a relationship, she stops craving grand gestures or expensive gifts. Because now she has something far more valuable, your attention, and that attention becomes the currency of connection. It makes her feel prioritized in a way no material object ever could. A woman who feels truly seen by you will open up in ways that no amount of money could ever unlock. A man who possesses strong boundaries and high standards instantly separates himself from the masses. In a culture where many men are willing to compromise their values just to gain a woman's approval or affection, a man who firmly knows what he stands for becomes incredibly rare and undeniably attractive. Boundaries are not about being cold or unapproachable. They're about knowing your worth and refusing to accept anything less than respect. Women are highly intuitive, and they can sense when a man lacks a spine. When he says yes to everything, allows disrespect to slide, or avoids conflict just to keep the peace, he may think he's being kind or easygoing, but what she sees is a man who lacks identity, and without identity, there's no power. When you have boundaries, you demonstrate that your time, energy, and emotional availability are not up for negotiation. You don't tolerate flaky behavior, passive aggression, or manipulation. You don't chase anyone who devalues you. And you don't reward inconsistency with attention. These silent rules shape the way others treat you, including women. When a woman realizes that you're not like the others, that you're not begging for her presence, not tolerating disrespect, and not compromising your peace to keep her around, she starts to respect you on a different level. Because boundaries create structure, and structure breeds trust. A man without boundaries feels chaotic, unpredictable, and emotionally unsafe. A man with boundaries becomes an anchor. Standards go hand in hand with boundaries. Your standards are the internal compass guiding how you live, what you accept, and who you allow into your life. A man with high standards doesn't just apply them to women. He applies them to himself. His habits, his friendships, his work ethic, the way he speaks and shows up in the world. It's all a reflection of a higher code. And when a woman sees that you hold yourself accountable, that you demand excellence from your surroundings and refuse to entertain mediocrity, she understands something important. You are not desperate. You're discerning. You don't accept just anyone into your space, and you don't just give your time because someone wants it. You evaluate, you observe, and you only invest where value is returned. This doesn't make you arrogant. It makes you grounded. Women may not say it outright, but they test men constantly. Not to be cruel, but to feel out whether you really are who you say you are. They test with late replies, with emotional ups and downs, with provocations, not always consciously, but instinctively. And when a man responds to those tests by shrinking, pleasing, or begging, he fails. But when you stand firm, when you stay calm and collected, and simply don't entertain the nonsense, something powerful happens. She realizes she can't manipulate you. She realizes she has to rise to meet your level, and that shift in dynamic awakens something deep within her: respect, admiration, and desire. A man with boundaries is not rigid, but he is immovable where it matters. He's not aggressive, but he's assertive. He doesn't need to raise his voice or make ultimatums. His energy communicates everything. His presence says, "I know who I am, and I don't bend just to be liked." That is far more powerful than wealth. Because money can buy attention, but it cannot buy respect, and respect is the foundation of real, lasting attraction. A woman may enjoy your gifts, your lifestyle, your generosity, but what she truly desires is a man who won't trade his integrity to keep her. That's the kind of man she can trust. That's the kind of man she follows. Mystery is not about deception or manipulation. It's about restraint. It's about holding back just enough of yourself that a woman becomes genuinely curious to understand what lies beneath the surface. In a world that encourages oversharing, instant gratification, and constant validation seeking, a man who carries himself with subtlety and composure becomes unforgettable. He's not cold, he's not distant, he's simply reserved, and that reservation creates a magnetic pull because it signals that he's not desperate to be known by everyone. He's selective, intentional, and that alone creates value. Women are natural investigators of emotion and energy. They don't just hear what you say, they feel what you don't say, and when a man doesn't immediately reveal every detail about his past, his plans, his opinions, his emotions, it activates something ancient in her psychology, the desire to explore, to uncover, to earn access. She starts to wonder what you're thinking, what your silence means, what drives you behind those eyes, and that curiosity builds tension, sexual, emotional, psychological tension, because now you've become more than just another man telling his whole life story to gain approval. You've become a puzzle, a narrative waiting to be unraveled, and women don't fall for open books. They fall for novels with locked chapters. Mystery also signals emotional self-control. A mysterious man doesn't rush to explain himself or seek reassurance. He doesn't flood a woman with constant updates or romantic declarations in an attempt to win her heart quickly. Instead, he moves slowly, deliberately. He reveals layers over time. He shares pieces of his world as she earns them. And that pacing creates depth, because depth isn't shown through quantity, it's shown through timing. When a man knows how to be emotionally rich without being emotionally exposed, he creates a safe space for her curiosity to grow. That's what keeps her intrigued. That's what keeps her thinking about him long after the conversation ends. Mystery is also rooted in having a life outside of her. A man with mystery is occupied, not just busy with distractions, but fulfilled. He has passions, goals, and routines that exist entirely outside of the woman's orbit. He doesn't broadcast everything he's doing because he doesn't need external validation. His silence is not absence, it's presence directed inward. And when a woman senses that your mind is not always available to her, that your emotions aren't easily accessed, she values the moments she does get from you more. Every word you say, every glance you give, every story you choose to tell suddenly becomes meaningful. Because scarcity creates desire, and mystery is the art of controlled scarcity. But mystery doesn't mean you're cold, aloof, or emotionally unavailable. On the contrary, it means when you choose to open up, it matters. It lands, it hits deeper, because it wasn't just given away, it was earned, and what's earned is always more valued. A mysterious man doesn't flirt with everyone. He doesn't overshare on social media. He doesn't react emotionally when things don't go his way. His mystery isn't a mask, it's a reflection of his depth. And that depth makes her feel like she's not just talking to a man. She's slowly entering a world with rules, values, silence, strength, and story. And most importantly, mystery keeps the fire alive. Relationships often die not because of a lack of love, but because of predictability. When a woman can predict every word you're going to say, every move you're going to make, every emotion you're going to express, she loses interest. Not because she doesn't care, but because she's no longer surprised. But when you carry mystery, you keep a part of yourself sacred, untouchable, private, and in doing so, you become the man she doesn't just desire, but wants to understand, and that hunger to understand you. That's the beginning of deep emotional attachment. A man with ambition isn't just someone who dreams. He's someone who moves asterisk. He wakes up with fire in his eyes and direction in his soul. Ambition isn't about chasing money for the sake of wealth. It's about chasing growth, evolution, and self-mastery. Women are naturally drawn to this because it signals something primal: progress, momentum, and future. A man with ambition doesn't sit still for too long. He's restless in the best way possible. He wants more, not just for himself, but from life itself. And that hunger is contagious. It inspires, it elevates. It commands attention without ever having to beg for it. Ambition shows that you're not complacent, that you won't be the same man a year from now, that you're not anchored to your current reality. You're building towards something greater. And when a woman sees that in you, she doesn't just see who you are. She sees who you're becoming asterisk. That vision, that trajectory, that refusal to settle, it's intoxicating, because it tells her that being with you isn't just about enjoying the present. It's about being part of an unfolding story. And women want to feel like they're stepping into a narrative that's alive, moving, and leading somewhere powerful. But ambition isn't loud. It's not about constantly announcing your goals or bragging about your work. It's a quiet discipline. It's how you carry yourself when no one's watching. It's the decisions you make daily that compound into greatness. The ambition-driven man has a certain discipline in the way he walks, speaks, and works. He doesn't waste his time chasing people who don't see his worth. He doesn't entertain distractions or drama. He's strategic with his time because he understands that every minute is either building or breaking his vision. And that level of focus is rare in a world built on convenience and comfort. Women pay attention to that energy. She watches how you move, how you treat your goals, how you protect your peace. She doesn't need you to be a millionaire. She needs to see that you think like one. She wants to see that fire in your eyes when you talk about your purpose, that determination when life knocks you down, that refusal to quit even when the odds are stacked. Because ambition isn't about status, it's about resilience. And when a woman sees that you can stand back up again and again without bitterness, without excuses, without blaming others, she feels something deep: admiration. And admiration is the foundation of real attraction. A man with ambition also upgrades the people around him. He doesn't pull others down, he pulls them up. His energy is expansive. He doesn't just talk about change, he embodies it. He reads, learns, grows, and outgrows. And when a woman sees that you hold yourself to a higher standard, that you're constantly evolving, that you don't need external validation to fuel your drive, she respects you in a way that no flashy lifestyle can replicate. Because now she sees that you're not just a man of goals, you're a man of mission. And mission-minded men are rare, they're magnetic, they walk differently, they don't chase. They attract, not because of what they have, but because of who they're becoming. And perhaps the most powerful part of ambition is that it shows you're not living life by default. You're designing it by intention. You're not a passenger, you're the driver. You're not hoping for success, you're engineering it. And in a world where most men are stuck in the loop of comfort, distraction, and emotional immaturity, a man who wakes up every day to build his dream becomes unforgettable. He doesn't beg for loyalty. He earns it. He doesn't need to impress with money. He impresses with direction. And that direction, that pull towards something greater, is what makes women see him not just as a man, but as a force. So in the end, it's not about your bank balance, the car you drive, or how expensive your watch is. It's about the asterisk energy asterisk you bring into a woman's life. Women are drawn to things that make them feel safe, inspired, seen, and challenged. Money might attract attention, but it doesn't hold it. What truly captivates a woman, deeply and silently, is a man with purpose, emotional depth, presence, discipline, mystery, and ambition. These are the invisible currencies that make her asterisk choose asterisk you, asterisk chase asterisk you, and most importantly asterisk respect asterisk you. Because when you embody these qualities, you become unforgettable, and no amount of money can compete with that.